and for the panel truck. And he said he would take additional, on the others, he wanted 52, what was it total?
Total 58.
58, he would take 12 more and let us sell the other two pieces of equipment.
12 more to 17?
No,
Well, you got 35.
it'd be a total of
40.
17 added to 35.
And Corey is,
5 to get the two vehicles and add 12 for the other two.
and who's Corey?
He is the manager of Cumberland Utility and Water.
Mayor, if you had 12 to 35, that's only 47.
Yeah,
No,
Okay.
12 is what we'll take the other two for, but we need another 5.
we need another 5 on the truck and
So
the
17.
tractor, because he's selling them for 20 apiece, and we were only planning on 35 total for, we offered him 35 for all of them, and he wants 20 apiece for the tractor and the trailer. It's only a thing.
Question,
Yes, sir.
if we purchase this, like this asphalt roller is, are we gonna do all the pothole filling and do away with the Duncan?
Trying to.
Oh,
We talked about that today.
I mean, ain't no sense in buying this thing, we're gonna pay somebody to
We're
do it.
patching leaks, we're patching potholes now, but we're not doing a very good job of it, the hole. With a compactor, you can square the hole up and put something there and pack it where the hole to adhere to the existing.
Right. But that's good, but what I'm saying, if we do that, though, we need to cut down on the other part, don't we? Save a little money. I know it's state street aid, but still, we could use that for something else.
We spent a lot of state street aid on patching this year.
Comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am, yes, sir.
I've got a
Trying to see Joel, there he's waiting down
The meeting, the motion in the last meeting was, let's see, I think it's motion by Miller, maybe with Bass. Second by Schillings to authorize the town to spend not more than $35,000 for the dump truck back in utility districts. And here's the question. If these three trucks are offered the town with firm price less than $35,000 before the next meeting, although it died, well, this is the next meeting. So if you read that literally, that resolution, that ordinance that authorizing the purchase of these equipments has expired. So what we have to do is make a new motion to buy the dump truck, backhoe, utility truck, and these other three-piece equipment for $52,000.
That's correct. That is correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, that's correct.
Well, I'll amend my motion
Okay,
to purchase the dump truck, the backhoe, the utility bed Chevrolet truck, the asphalt roller, and get all the other, get it all for the 50, not to exceed $54,000.
Now I've got a motion. Got a second? Remember, this is coming out of a fund. It's not, it's for
did
this.
we say 54,000?
Yeah, I'm sure.
We just go to the total cost. It's 2040,
52,
557.
52,000.
52, all right, 52,000.
And that's those three additional trucks that's shown on Thomas's, the '96 Chevrolet dump truck and the hauled backhoe and the utility truck and the asphalt roller, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay.
What's the total on that, Thomas?
52,000.
Got a motion?
I'll say it,
Got a second? Any more discussion?
I wanna see some pothole patching though.
And we can do it.
Asphalt roller 4 is for water line cuts across roads and stuff,
Oh, that ain't for streets, then, is
not for streets.
Okay, that's.
It's a small road.
It's real small. It's like 2 tons.
You know, if we got a piece of equipment sitting over there, we just fixed the pothole with, water department could fix the thing across the road too. We can't keep,
it? So it's the same size as that one we had.
yeah, we can't restrict
bigger.
who uses
It's a little
what.
bigger.
A lot of people's tried to do that in the past.
I was under the impression, I forgot this was water.
Yeah,
Water,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay, but there's nothing to keep us from using this roller for the street too.
Yeah, if it's a water line cut or.
Streets gotta be fixed, whatever, but anyway, we're one town, we got two things we're dealing from, but occasionally you'll have to use a piece of equipment in the other, but, okay, got a motion, second, any more discussion?
Have these pieces, these equipment been inspected by our maintenance people?
We've checked them, and we've had,
Is it,
Teddy and him and myself, and, this truck right now is in the shop, going over, make sure there's nothing wrong with it.
okay.
They got their own shop down there, they take care of their equipment.
Backhoe, part of it?
Backhoe is not been operated by us, but we will be before we pay them any money.
And the trucks? The truck?
Same, they'll
Tires
drive
are good
them,
on it?
yeah, tires were good. No big dents or rust on any of it. In fact, this engine on this diesel here, you would think is new almost, it's clean.
Is it a lower or higher truck that we got right now, like the highest one, the same height?
Within a few inches,
Okay, no, it's basically the same,
yeah.
and the backhoe here is essentially the same as what we got?
Two-wheel drive, yeah, the one we got is
It ain't-
two-wheel drive.
Okay,
It's got a big bucket on it, of course, you can interchange buckets.
and the water department's gonna use the truck, this other pickup,
Mhm.
Yes.
are they agreeable with this?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Jenny went with us, and he's impressed with the vehicles. You know, we bought used vehicles before this failed, and we can't guarantee that these aren't gonna fail, but I feel more comfortable with these than I have the ones we bought in the past.
We should have bought this back last year,
It was offered.
and we didn't do it.
Yeah, it was offered. Okay, got a motion, second, any more discussion? Call the roll, please, Joe.
Robert Miller,
Yes, sir.
Jeff Bass,
Yes.
Kenny Brown,
Yes,
Terry Hall,
Yes.
Tom Tillman.
Yes.
Passed.
Is there anything else to come before the water board?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, we adjourn, and if everybody wants to take a couple of seconds to get a cup of water or whatever.
You're live right
We
now.
set the time on it.
You're live right now.
You gotta get on the agenda.
You're live.
Okay, this meeting's adjourned.
Are you Janice?
I'm just telling you that.
Okay. We're on TV now.
You're on TV for nothing right now.
Okay, good.
During the citizen delegation, would you
So-
approach and tell?
Can we pause it?
Can't pause live.
Okay. Can we not have a split in it?
What's that?
Okay, go gather them guys back in. I didn't know you stood up.
Mr. Mayor, why don't you entertain us and sing us a song?
I could do that. Ladies and grace.
Now, what was that you said you earlier that you were gonna meet everybody at?
What was that statement I made earlier? We are live then.
Yes, we are.
Well, I'll do something off the cuff then. I have a first cousin, Owen Cox, passed away today between 11 and 11:30 probably. And he was about as old as me. He was 79 and I'm 81. But be in prayer for that family and appreciate that. He went to sleep in Arbor Springs and woke up in heaven. What a great feeling that must be. I can't preach much longer. I don't have a license.
I thought Arbor Springs was heaven. He just went from one heaven to the other.
Yeah, one heaven to the other, right? From Arbor Springs.
It's God's country.
That's
Heaven in the sky. Yeah, it's we held a water department meeting over a little longer, and then the TV got turned on, and we weren't sure that was gonna happen, or I wasn't aware that was gonna happen, so we're trying to fill a space. Turn your TV off or turn the sound off. We'll be back with you in a minute.
Got back outside, I should sleep and have a blooper. It is leaking over there. I got the kitty cat.
Chief, you wanna bring those other guys back in, please? Chief Morgan, you wanna hustle those other two guys back in, please?
Jeff's headed around now.
Tell them this is costing us money to be here, embarrassing ourselves.
Pass that around to everybody.
Jeff, I didn't know we were live when I give you guys a break, I'm sorry.
Here's a pin, Glenn, put here.
You can tell this is not rehearsed. But I commend Oliver Springs folks on the good job they're doing protecting their health during this.
And if anyone is,
And this virus that's got going around, we haven't had any that I know of that
if anyone wants a mask, I
come
know.
back. We'll pass the paper out now to get instructions for the people in the, that might be in the audience who wants to wear a mask or whatever.
Well, I'm gonna just put them right here if anybody wants.
But anyway, we've been very fortunate in this little town not to have more sickness than what we've had with that. Wish we couldn't have as many as New York City, they got a few more people than we have. Where's Mr. Brown? Is he around there? Is he coming back? He can sneak back in, I'm gonna call
Yeah,
him.
he's coming back in now.
Sorry about that, Mr. Brown, I'm rushing you, we were live TV here and I didn't realize that. Okay, I'll now call the Olive Springs Water Board meeting to order, the council meeting to order at this time. Would you, lead us to the pledge, sir? Call the roll, Joe, first.
Ross Miller,
Here.
Jeff Bass,
Here.
Kenny Brown,
Here.
Jason Stiller, Terry Holland,
Here.
Don Schuler.
Here,
Got four.
Tom, would you lead us to the pledge?
yes. Place the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Joe, would you lead us to prayer, please?
Our Father, we come to you tonight, and we ask that hatred going back and forth, and we pray that people would turn to you for solutions, because the problems that we face cannot necessarily be solved completely by man. It can only be solved through you, through your being in the hearts and minds and souls of each and every person, where we follow the commandment that Christ gave, and that commandment being love thy neighbor as thyself. We pray for our elected officials and our government services servants on all levels. We pray you will give these men wisdom as we debate here tonight to manage the resources that you have most generously given. We ask all these things in thy son's name. Amen.
Amen. Approval of minutes from last meeting, anyone have, that's the one we want to make a correction on, Joe, but it's not a big thing. On the mowing of the cemetery, I did not participate, I just asked the men to participate, and they did a good job. But city manager asked them, and I just watched them.
I make a motion we accept the minutes with the revision be made.
Okay, got a motion, need a second?
Second.
Got a motion, and a second. You have any discussion, Mr. Bass? Okay, Mr. Brown, no? Okay, anything else to add or subtract from minutes? Call roll, please.
Robert Miller,
Yes, sir.
Jeff Bass,
Yes.
Kenny Brown,
Yes.
Terry Holland,
Yes.
Don Schuler.
Yes.
Passed.
Okay, we give delegation from citizens. At this time, we give you 3 to 5 minutes, whatever you might need. Does anyone have anything? Come forward, please, and say your name and address, please.
My name is Janice Newport. I live at 192 Midway Drive, Olive Springs. I'm here because I received a late notice on my taxes, and I'm just now getting the investigative work done because of COVID-19, so I apologize for the late presentation of this. I didn't know that I was deemed late because everything that I do is through online banking. So when a check is sent through the mail, I assume that it's taken care of because I didn't receive anything until February. Couldn't do anything about it until recently because no one was in the bank. So here is the late notice. With that said, November 15th, I sent you all a check for my taxes. And I accidentally paid a little more according to my check. But I'm asking you all to take the late fee off, as this has happened last year. And it's the principle of the matter. I can pay the $7, but I am tired of paying $7 every year when I'm doing this online.
What day did you write the check, please?
November 8th is when it was sent. It was estimated to be delivered on November 15th. And I have a confirmation of the check was sent from my account, and I had the funds. So
Do you have a confirmation when the check was processed?
the check was never cashed.
Never cashed, okay.
So
I'm sorry.
here's what I'm saying to you is, I intend to pay this tax bill. I think it's wrong for me to have to pay a late fee on something that I've already paid. I don't know where the discrepancy happened. I don't know if the postman accidentally dropped it in the middle of the street. But this is not the only time this has happened. This happened last year, and I had to go chasing it. I paid the late fee because I thought, you know what? Maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I didn't understand how soon to send it out. Honest mistake. But this is the second year it's happened. I don't think that's okay.
What's the amount of your late charge? You don't mind telling me?
I'm sorry?
What's the amount of the late charge?
$7.
I'll make a motion to remove, we just,
Let me offer this, and no reflection on you or any other taxpayer. It's my recollection that for property taxes and other revenue due to a government, you have to have a receipt issued by the government, and the date of the receipt is the date of payment. And if you have a receipt back in November 2019, then that means the town received the money and the treasurer credited the account, wrote the receipt, mailed it to you. If you got a late receipt or late bill, and you have the receipt showing that it was paid in November, then there's probably a bookkeeping error
There
by the
was,
city treasurer.
I did not receive a receipt.
That's why I was specific in terms of a receipt, because in contract law, if you pay a credit card bill, the bill is assumed to be paid the date of the postmark, notwithstanding the fact that the credit card company or others don't get it. Now, that's a matter of, I'll say, Uniform Commercial Code law. That's why the credit card companies put in the credit card contract that it's not considered paid until the credit card company gets it, see? So, in state law, and you know, this is something that's hit me cold, and I'm speaking strictly from memory, and I could be wrong, but I know in my role as judge, people come in frequently and say, well, I paid the court costs. And my standard response is, if you don't have a receipt that's numbered on Town of Olive Springs receipt book paper, it didn't get paid,
Well,
period.
the other taxes that were due on another property was processed that same day and did just fine.
Well, I'm not debating the point. What I'm, and if you bear with me, I've got a counter-proposing point. But what I'm saying is that you as a taxpayer came down and said you sent the money in. Okay, the textbook question to that is, do you have a receipt dated November 9th of 2019? No, I don't. Then the textbook answer from our auditors and from the comptroller's office is that you didn't pay it, we didn't get it, and you owe the $7. Now, that's, I'll say, the black letter law. Now, that's, quote, justice, close quote. But in courts and in law, you have a justice side and you have an equity side. The equity side of this is that I would agree you shouldn't have to pay the $7, because from my standpoint, I have to pay a number of fees as a lawyer and a businessman through Nashville using credit cards and check deductions and stuff. And my feeling is, if I don't get a bill from the state, you know, I don't pay. But then the state takes the position that you owe the money, and if you don't contact us and pay us, we're going to bill you, and we'll take your law license, or we'll levy on your property, or we'll do all these mean things to you. See? And that's why I'm showing the contrast, because from an equitable standpoint, you're 100% right. But from the law standpoint, it doesn't matter if you had 20 pieces of property, 19 got paid, no receipt. Now, it could have been an error on behalf of the town. Now, the next question I would say on electronic transfer, if the money didn't get credited in the Town of Olive Springs account, where'd the money go?
It's still in my account, even though we sent the check. I don't know what happened to the check after it left my bank, but my stance is, do you know what purchases you made this week, every day this week? Do you know what bills you paid? Don't you hope that you paid it like you're supposed to,
Well,
and you're able to take it off your check
Okay,
list?
when you ask that question of Joe Van Hook, my answer is every time I get my canceled checks in monthly, I go over my checks and match them to the bills I paid.
I don't get
And
it
if I
in
don't
check.
have a copy, and nowadays don't send you a canceled check, they send you a photocopy of it. And I have my CPA at the office, he actually lives in Powell, but I match the check to an invoice. And if he'll show that check not cleared, and then he lets me know that this invoice didn't get paid or this check is still outstanding and so on. Now, like I said, see, that's the black letter accounting law. But I agree with you because I get so tired of the problems we face with electronic banking and people make mistakes. Post office, you know, I mailed for years stuff to the clerk and master out in Wartburg without a post office box, and suddenly they started sending it back. And there's one clerk and master, and there's one courthouse in Wartburg, and so on like that, and they just said, well, we put out new regulations, said it had to have a post office box on it. And I've told the postmaster, if I practice law the way that you run the post office, I'd be sued for malpractice and be out of business. Because I resent the fact that the bureaucracy does not use common sense and the state law does not have common sense. And see, you fall into this category of the common sense argument that the $7 should be forgiven. But these gentlemen, I think, should understand that if the taxpayer or the person that pays fines and costs doesn't have a receipt, hadn't been paid.
All right.
Because that's what our auditors hold us to from a professional standpoint. We can be written up if we give credit for stuff without having receipts for it, or purchase orders, whatever it might be.
I understand that, and I do understand what you're saying about a receipt. But the hindsight, the other side to that is, I have my head down working every day. I'm not busy trying to chase a receipt. I'm not an accountant. I will keep better records of this, but this happened last year, and I'm frustrated because this happened last year. I'm asking you all to remove the $7 on principle, and if you don't, I understand, but I'm asking you to do the right thing. If you were in my shoes, what would you do?
I do have to say something. I would feel amiss if I didn't bring this up. And I don't mean to cast doubt or disparagement, but I do have to bring this up because they do need to know before they make their decision. For Roane County, do you also own property in Roane County?
I do.
We have records here that in 2016, 17, 18, that it was late. And then for the property you're talking about currently, it was late in 18 and in 19, this current year.
Okay,
So
well,
I have to bring that up, that
okay.
there is a pattern.
I have receipts here showing what I did. You're welcome to look at them.
Oh, I believe you. I believe
Do
you
you
did.
wanna look at
I
them?
believe that you did send it, but I just want to let the council know that there has been a pattern in last year, this year, for the current property we're discussing, and the other property in Roane County back in 15, 16, and 17, that it was late as well, so.
Your late fees.
That's 100% yes, but this one is the one we're in question, but I just had to let them know that it has happened in the past.
When did you get the late fee?
Let's see.
In the mail, I guess, or?
This is dated, it doesn't say, but it says total due with penalty and interest through 6 of 2020. So this month I have to pay the late fee and, $122 plus $7 or $122.
I mean, you got it a week ago? or
I don't have
a
the
week
thing on.
I was just curious.
You called
Here,
about
there's
that, as I
something
recall,
wrong.
you called the tax office about it.
I called every day this week between patients. I have called because last year, he's right, I was late because the same thing happened. I sent the checks through the mail for everything that I was supposed to send because I thought I can't go chasing down the taxes. I need to pay them all online. So last year, the same thing happened. I had a property that I had to go back and pay the money for and the late fee. And I do believe it was the property here downtown Oliver Springs. So,
Where do you drop your letters or mail? Did they pick it up at your office or your house? or-
no, this is
She
directly
did
from
online, she's on
the bank.
That was online, all of it.
So,
Was this city and county then?
this is
That's a city?
city.
The county didn't have a problem with their money? That's the city.
Just the city.
What bank is it?
In Richmond. The other tax, bill that was due the same day as, this property made it just fine. Am I correct?
I don't know, yeah, I guess,
For this year, for 2019.
the other property, they both got paid for 18 and 19. And yes, it made it in.
I wonder if there's an electronic problem in the
Yeah.
transfer.
I think we can answer to the auditors, it will be right if they have to look at it, but I think personally we can answer to the auditors, I don't think it's any fault of hers, but it's up to the council, I think.
Maybe a recommendation, you come down here and pay it next time.
I did, okay.
Or I'd write a check myself, that's the only thing I ever write checks for anymore, is taxes.
Well,
Just for the joke.
Make the motion, we take the $7 off, which is just on the regular tax.
Got a motion, got a second, get a second.
I'll say.
Got a motion and a second, any more discussion? We'll advise her that the $7 will be coming.
Got it, right?
You gotta vote, yes.
Okay, have you paid it already? Are you going to
no,
pay?
I'm
No,
waiting
I
to
thought
see
she
what I
just
pay.
Subtract the $7 off, and Ramona will tag probably the receipt or whatever to this motion and
Okay,
second.
if there's not any more discussion, we'll just
Because
call roll.
auditors will have to, it's got a balance.
Yeah, she'll balance. Call roll, please.
Robert Miller,
Yes, sir.
Jeff Bass,
Yes.
Kenny Brown,
Yes.
Terry Holland,
Yes.
Don Shelby.
Yes.
Passed.
Sorry this happened to you.
Thank you.
I know it's inconvenient to come to here, and I appreciate you bringing it up, but I wish everybody would come here with their problems instead of calling us, though.
Well, I already did.
No, yeah, we know you've been calling, so,
Have a good day.
Easy.
thank you, bye-bye. Anybody else from the audience? Where am I at? You're grunting like I haven't done something here. What am I missing?
You're up.
Comments from mayor.
Oh, me, I don't remember now what I was gonna say. You guys got me frustrated here. Starting the TV on me early and all that. Well, I said a lot of things at the beginning when we were live, and I didn't realize we were live, and some of you guys were getting water and stuff, or taking breaks in between the water board, and I still would like to commend the citizens of the wellness, wellness checks they've been doing and complying with most of the regulations or governor's rules that he puts out that they recommend, and that's kept our sickness down low, and I appreciate them cooperating with us during the city hall being closed and dropping their bills and boxes, et cetera, and not being aggravated at us and calling us, and being patient with us during the spring cleanup. This was different than it ever has been, and hopefully it'll never happen again, and we want to cooperate with every citizen we can and do the best job we can to get it done. This council and I will do everything, and the city manager, to help with the city, and that's what we're here for, is to serve citizens, and I appreciate your comfort and that you give me, and knowing that you're trying to take care of your health and your children's health, and being patient. That's all, city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to publicly thank Rocky Top for allowing us to borrow their brush truck. We were able to use it to pick up a majority of brush throughout the city, and we did a ride around and made a list. Al Buster did that for us, and also we did a scheduled pickup where people had called in. The cemetery is scheduled to be mowed early next week. In addition, the new tractor has been out mowing throughout the week, and the repairs on the 4-lane is scheduled for potholes, and also Spring Street as well, East Spring Street. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, Mr. Miller. I have nothing this time, sir. Mr. Bass.
Nothing at this time.
Mr. Brown.
Yeah, we're talking about potholes, the bridge going out of Oliver Springs in the Norwood area, right there at the Orville Anderson sign, had a chunk of something come out of that asphalt right there, and there's no way you can not hit it unless you get in the other lane, and then, sometimes you can't get in that other lane. It's not that big, but it is, it's right there on the edge, but it's right there by the sign, there's Orville Anderson, and out there where the 4 lanes at in that bridge. And is there anything update on this drain out here at the businesses where smoker friendly and the dog stuff and then the
Yes.
jewelry store?
Yes, that's a private drive. we're gonna contact them. We went and looked at it, but it's a private drive. They own that, and they need to get one to widen it.
Well, now,
It's a
owning it
commercial.
and so much maintaining it, is the drain our responsibility?
We'll dig the ditch. We'll dig the ditch, but the culvert's theirs as well.
Well, I know it's people coming around, when they come around the drive-through, they don't give people enough room.
Yeah, it needs to be expanded more. And
Either that or, you know, no exit sign or something, you know, right there where they go on up to the other area, but that's still another thing too. But, somebody's gonna get in that ditch, they have already, I know, and hopefully it ain't me. But, other than that, that's all, I want to say too, on the cleanup, you know, I didn't realize they were doing it till I seen them come down the road. And, got some brush up out on Dean Valley, and I appreciate them doing that. That's all I know.
Anything, sir?
Yeah, that's good on the cleanup. Some of the city's kind of sloppy about throwing stuff in that dumpster. One side is empty, the other side is running over.
We had to pack it down to get it home.
Is there another one there, or is it over, or?
It's over,
It
but-
ended on the 28th or 29th.
Well, it's over.
It's over.
And, the tractor, how many hours you think's on it?
Ooh, I don't know. I can text you. I'm not sure. A lot. We run it all the time.
That's what I'm saying, somebody's doing good.
It hasn't really stopped running unless something goes wrong.
First 2 days, we had it slow
Yeah,
running.
it was slow.
Had problems with it the first 2 days.
Actuator problems or so.
They haven't hit that stop, it's getting pretty bad.
Yeah, that was fixed, yeah. They
Oh.
gave us new parts for it.
And, do we get any answers from the, what would we call it, warden or whatever, on the status of getting her?
I called
Yeah,
down, I called down Mr. Waters and I'm waiting on his return call. He's in charge of the inmate crew.
Tom, I'm assuming.
Couple things. You might have told us, but could you give me an update on that trailer that's supposed to went for taxes there on Butler Mill, or it was gonna be?
I think that got sold, actually. The right man's here to talk about it. If you want to, you can, I'll.
It has been sold, and the new owner, so we will be going out for the new owner to try and get it cleaned up.
Oh, okay.
Is there additional lot there beside it that needs cleaning up also?
There's a couple on Butler Mill that we already have.
Yeah, I had that on, I appreciate it.
I had a call from a lady there, said her property was nice and but 2 properties adjoining hers weren't.
There's 2 properties on Butler Mill that are in the city attorney's hands.
Okay. I'm sorry to take up your time there, we'll give you some extra.
I'd like to thank whoever done it, it's probably Jerry Brown covering up all that asphalt down there by the flea market, it looks a whole lot better if anybody noticed. You know, it's all piled up. It's all
This guy here
smoothed down.
coordinated that.
Did you coordinate that?
I tried to, but it was.
Looks good. And the cleanup, Terry answered on cleanup, I guess, it's going pretty good. That's all I got.
Okay.
Can I ask Mr. Coker a question?
Yes.
On Butler Mill, is one of them, got a roof with blue tarp on it? Is that one of the candidates? If you look on Google Earth, you can see it. That's how long it's been there.
Okay, I'll take a look at that, make sure.
It's on over a hill.
Yeah, I'll have to verify that with you. Will you text me the address of that piece of property?
Yeah.
I'll be glad to go check.
And actually, Terry, if tonight is passed, the updated building codes, part of that is you can't have a tarp on your roof for so long. So if
But
that's
it's long
passed,
enough, it's on Google Earth.
That's- yeah.
It's probably-
That is long enough.
Google just might run that yesterday.
No,
Chief, are you finished? Chief, you got anything?
you're on the agenda, chief, for 1 and 2.
Okay, so you got anything?
We got,
other than
you
that?
got 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, he's got.
The, finally got the lease today on the,
They're not there yet, unless he wants to jump to it.
no, I thought that's what you wanted.
You're on the.
No, you're on the new business also.
No, no, I can wait. I thought we was ready for start.
No, we just wanted to, you got any updates? If you don't, I'm sorry. Fire chief, got anything?
Oh, he can stay there.
Okay, you're on the thing too. Old business. Now, we're gonna get to you, just a second. You stay up here if you
Oh,
want
I'm
to.
sick.
Old business? See, we got these newfangled things, and today is the first time we've used them, so. Any old business, new business, item 1. Discuss and possibly approve, Mayor Cox to sign a year's lease agreement for $1 for shooting range for the police department.
Finally got the lease today. It's for $1 a year.
You go ahead and do it.
The,
Park and Bridge,
no, this is at the end of Big Mountain.
it's in the big mountain.
Yeah. That's the end of Big Mountain. They, range up Show Lake where they put the cabins years ago. And when they put the cabins in, they took our shooting range in as part of that. And we were promised one back then, and that's when Chuck was still up there. And they finally agreed to give us a piece of property in Maine. And it's all the way to the end of Big Mountain where the trail starts.
Is this fenced in and everything where nobody else can get in?
Yeah, it's all the way at the end.
That's not the one highway up the road leads anywhere, gas.
No, this is right all the way at the end of, you know where one of the Brady boys lived at the end of Big Mountain?
Yeah.
It's across the road where there used to be a house used to sit. And this gives us that, stipulations are that, it's $1 a year, we've got to gate it, we've got to sign it, we've got to do all that, so everybody knows it's a live fire range. This is pretty, almost the same kind of lease they did with the outfit that shoots up there on the mountain, run the shooting range.
I'll make a motion that we approve the mayor to sign the lease for the agreed $1 a year for the shooting range.
Okay, got a motion, need a second. Got a motion and a second, any discussion?
You just gotta put a flag, good little sign out there on the
Yeah, we've got
top.
to sign it, gate it, we've got to do everything, but all around the property line, we've got to, every 75 feet, we've got to have a sign that says it's a shooting range and all that.
Is this something we can turn into maybe something for citizens to, like the Oak Ridge Sportsman Club?
If we do that, then we're gonna have to start paying
Okay.
insurance and all kinds of fees on it if we do that.
We're not gonna go any further than where we are.
No, just us.
Okay, any more comments, suggestions? Call the roll, please.
Robert Miller,
Yes.
Jeff Bass,
Yes.
Kenny Brown,
Yes.
Terry Holland,
Yes.
Don Shelby.
Yes.
Passed.
Okay, discuss and possibly approve Police Chief Kenneth Morgan to apply for a local support grant for the purchase of radios.
And Justin's gonna argue over this one. The money that the governor gave all the cities, last year, or for this upcoming year, the city's share of it was $105,000, just a little over. And my radios, our radios we bought back in 2000, I think 2010 when we started that process and bought those in about 11. So they're at their 10-year limit on our portables. They're real bad. And what I'm wanting to do, if True to get this money, is buy new radios. And the total price on those is gonna be right at $110,000 to get the new portables and mobiles. And that'll put us on the Valley system, so we can talk to Anderson County, Rome County, Oak Ridge. Right now, we can't talk to any of them. We're not on the same radio system.
Asked a question. Are you asking permission to seek bids with the idea that the bids would come in at some point in the future and we can get the money, then we'd sign the contract or come back before council, assuming they pass it, you'd sign the contract? Is this for information only, or are you asking for a motion in second? And if so, we don't have the money yet, we don't have a contract yet.
Now, I've already got the bids, but,
Oh, okay.
until this is decided, then just handing the bids out.
Even though this is a grant, he's gotta apply for it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a grant through the state, it's free money, no payback.
Well,
gonna turn
do
it
you want
into-
and I'm just thinking out loud, because you can have the motion to accept the low bid for X dollars, and I need that information for my minutes, and to be paid for out of this $105,000 grant, if and when we get it, then it would be contingent on if you don't get the grant, chief can't do it. But when we get the grant and the money comes in, then chief can do it, or maybe we've gotta buy it and then submit to be reimbursed from the grant, whatever the procedure is. I just wanna make sure I know what,
The money's there, we gotta submit the grant no later than July 1st, 21,
21, yeah.
have we got the money already?
and it can't be paid after July 1.
I think what the chief's asking for now is just permission to fill it out and see if he can get it, because it's, as in
Is
line.
that correct?
Yeah, it's It's a guaranteed
Okay.
money. If you fill it out and put in for it, the city just has to pass a resolution, okaying it.
I'll make a motion that we let him apply for the grant.
A motion is second.
I'll say.
Motion and second, any discussion, more discussion?
What's the cost if you get the grant?
It's, the radios and everything's right at $110,000. I'm gonna be able to get Anderson County to put the bill for one of the mobile radios and everything to put at the station for the console. They're gonna put that money, but we're still gonna be out somewhere between $505,000 and $107,000, and I've got the extra money, to pay whatever's.
How long are the bids good for?
Huh?
How long are the bids good for?
They're good for 90 days right now.
Okay.
Well, I mean, how much is the grant paying?
$105,600 and
So it's a
something.
total of 200.
No, it's
That's what it was.
$105,000.
I mean, what's it costing?
Doesn't cost the city anything.
Oh, okay.
It's free money.
Okay.
Yeah, it's-
I sort of thought you said, but that. you-
It's not a matching grant, it's a
Yeah.
grant, but you have to apply for it as if it's, you're just gonna pay for it.
Oh, okay.
These radios you got there, you can't even contact these.
We can't talk to Anderson County, Rome County, Oak Ridge, we can't talk to anybody around us right now.
Got that somewhere.
Unless
But
it's
you're
us back
keeping
before
the
we can
same-
talk to them.
You're keeping the same frequency.
No, we're moving up to 700 megahertz up to the valley system.
Oh.
That's where everybody else is gone and just left us behind.
In our equipment in the dispatch can handle that already?
Yeah, it can handle it already, it's just, and like I say, 911 about it, said, once I get all this done, then I can go to them and ask them for them to kick in and pay that part of it.
This is
I
same
got
thing.
a question. I understand we got this grant, but I also understand we was gonna give you half of it to the fire department, half of it.
Yeah, like, that's the reason I was asking for all of it for radios, because half of it wouldn't do me any good for
Well,
radios.
I'm just saying, you know, we need a fire truck. And we
Half of it won't hot fire truck.
well, with his other money that he's got appropriated through a grant, it's my understanding that he can purchase the fire truck. But he needs the half of this money, which, you know, I mean, it's not that I don't want you to have your radio, but I also know what's gonna happen if we don't get this fire truck.
Now, it's the same thing as what's gonna happen when we need to talk to somebody who can.
Is there some way we could maybe, do something to, you know,
Justin, join in this situation, please.
yeah.
We're not fighting amongst each other. because-
No, no, no,
No,
no.
Justin's got some, we can probably get some more money, we hope.
So, as far as the fire truck grant goes, we was gonna get the money through the state this year before, obviously, our nice little COVID happened. When that happened, we was going to match 150,000, that was gonna come from the state, and then the 155 that the council already approved me to go ahead and start seeking, but I've not signed any paperwork or anything. And in conversation with Thomas, our current budget situation and everything, most likely we was gonna hold off until after July 1 anyway. That way we kick that down the road to the next budget year. That way that 20,000 can be taken out of my budget and used for some of the overages in other areas. That's something that I understand that has to happen. At the same time, I also know his need because I'm in the same need. Our radios are the same system, or our radios are the same years, everything. I'm having the same issues that he is. The only difference is I've applied for $190,000 to replace mine through an AFG grant, which when we move up to the Tennessee Valley, I'm in the same boat with him. I can't talk to nobody around us. So, you know, when everybody else moved up, Rome County, Oak Ridge has moved up, that's two of my major mutual aid partners. The only other one is Marlowe. Marlowe and Anderson County is planning on moving up themselves. So as all of us start moving the Tennessee Valley system, it's a major cost. His is less just cause the simple fact I've got 20 guys on the roster. He's got 12. So that extra cost is where that comes in. I also have to keep tri-band on mine because I also deal with Morgan County and a couple of the other areas that we go to. So I know what 155, so the 155,000 that we talked about as far as a loan, I know what it'll buy as far as a used apparatus. I also know if we split it, I know what 205,000 would buy as a used apparatus. It ain't gonna be a new apparatus at 205,000. You know, that's one of the things, that's why we was going for the 150 through the governor's appropriation. I attempted the AFG process, we've been kicked out of the AFG process as far as a truck, several times. So when we got kicked out that last time, we thought we had a winner with the other. We withheld on applying this time around on the AFG, just because we already had the other things appropriated. So that's kind of the situation for the fire truck. I'm still down in apparatus, we're still operating 50%. You know, it's there. I also know what his need is as well. So that's the problem. You've got two public safety agencies that both have needs, that both cost a lot of money. And, you know, there's no easy answer. That's why you guys get paid the big bucks.
Well, I look at it this way, we're not gonna make either one of you 100% equal.
I'm ready.
With this grant money we're getting from
No.
national, if we split it, you're both still gonna be half in operation of what you want.
Right.
So I think there might be a possibility of getting some additional money for the fire truck. Am I wrong or am I right?
No, as far as I know, no. As far as I know, no. The only other grant that is possibly open, the council uses for water line and sewage. And that's the one that so like right now, you got Wartburg City that just bought, actually Wartburg area volunteer fire department just bought a fire truck. Several other areas just bought a fire truck. They got that on the CBG grant. Every department that put in for a CBG grant got it, 100%. So that's just.
We
you
could
know,
put in for them because we got two open.
we got sewer and water, and at the same time, you know, I attend council meetings, I know what other areas are needed. Water is just as much need as it is for a fire truck for me. So, you know, it's a balancing act. Knowing his need, and I spoke with Thomas and stuff, and I spoke with Kenny, I told him you know, chase him down in a dark alley later. But knowing his need and knowing what the cost of the radios is, my personal suggestion, because I know what fire truck I can get with that amount of money, that's gonna last us 10 to 20 years down the road, that's gonna be the lifespan of his radios as well. My personal opinion is still go the route that we was planning on going and the 155, and then him get the radios, because I know that that's a need that he needs as much as I do. The only difference is I'm applying for an AFG grant that he don't have access to, and I can't put him in on it.
So we're not gonna have a feud between you two?
No, there's gonna be a few later, but you know, that's just normal.
Next 5 years down the road, you got priority, right?
Next
I won't
year,
be here, so.
next year, well, that's in next month.
So to answer your question,
I'm just, you know, I understand, but how much more are we gonna have to appropriate for you on your end of it?
On my end of it, mine's covered by the budget. So that $20,000 that was sitting there,
Right?
that's in my budget, and, all of you just kinda saw what the budget was, and then I put it back in there for next year. That 20,000 covers that loan. For
I'm talking about the
155.
fire truck part, we're not anywhere close to getting one, is what you're saying, right?
If you guys approve me to apply for the loan and go purchase a fire truck, I can do it tomorrow.
And
he just can't get the fire truck that he would rather have. He can get a fire truck.
I can get a fire truck. I mean,
That's
I see them, and this is the thing on used fire apparatus. As soon as they hit the market, now there's a few that kind of linger out, and I know Robert watches the fire truck market just as much as I do. He sees them, this used apparatus. As soon as they hit the market, the ones that you want, they're gone the next day. If not, they're gone before, because somebody's called ahead and said, I need X, Y, and Z. The ones that are still lingering on the market, they linger on the market more than 3 months. It's probably not the truck you want. So that's just one of them things that, you know, you've got to be on top of it. That, you know, there's one that I saw in Laverne, Tennessee, and I spoke with Thomas on it. It met every mark that we needed. And I called, and he goes, I sold it an hour ago. So,
do we need to give you approval to get it, to process the grant, or what do we need to do?
if you want the approved process loan, so here's the, fact, I've dealt with loans, several times, and Thomas, please correct me if I'm wrong. I can kick the payment to January 1 for the first payment, which if we do it right now, I'm not affecting this year's budget, it would actually be next year's budget that would be affected. So that 20,000 would be then. You know, that's where, you know, we can keep that payment to where if you do January 1, then you got your tax revenue coming in as well. And that's what we did on the last loan that we've got. We done it on January 1 payment, that way we had tax revenue, we had sales tax revenue, and it got both of them. And that way we didn't break the bank when we hit $20,000 payment right
I'm
away.
just saying, for the bottom line is that if we don't get one, then the insurance companies is gonna,
If your insurance company still uses ISO, absolutely.
they're gonna come in, what, at the end of this year?
January, I'm looking at January to March, somewhere in
Next
there. Well, it'd be 2021.
2021. So
Right.
we need that, I'd like to make a motion, we give him to go get the loan, or,
We need to vote on this first.
You need to get it first.
okay.
We got a motion second on you, and we got discussion, we just want him up here to, I wanted him up here to make sure we had no hard feelings.
I'm
Since you
fine.
brought that up.
I'm fine with giving, Chief Morgan that money, and, if we
Let's
can,
vote.
Let's vote then.
okay.
Robert
Yes,
Miller.
sir, wait a minute, Robert's got a question.
Joe. When we did the last ones, chief, we got them in 12, and we broke it down in five 6-year payments of $13,788 a year, which came out to $69,800 something. We financed them.
But you really get the same radios.
No, it wasn't.
These radios are updated.
We bought the bottom of the line then.
Bottom line, these are top line radios.
And they're going to a different frequency. But can we not apply for a loan?
We can apply for a loan on this fire truck too.
That's
We
we're not
always
trying to
apply
use this
for a
one
loan.
and keep having to do another
Well,
line.
I'm trying to we're trying to not have as many loans on the books. I know we get a good interest rate normally, but the least amount of loans we keep on the books, the better off we are, I think. But, city manager, you got any comments?
No comments? I mean-
Which would be your preference?
I mean, if they're in agreement, and if the council's in agreement, I mean, it's a grant that's really
It's for this
narrow,
purpose.
it's really narrow of what you can do with this grant anyway. And public safety is one of the things you can do with
I
it.
know no more important public safety than the fire department and the police department, so.
I mean, what's the odds of getting a grant?
100%.
It's
It is
100%
We've already got
it's
it.
guaranteed
All we
grant.
gotta do is
I mean,
go up
so
there.
we're not,
They just got designated, so all they
So-
No one else is nothing.
If you
well,
guys
that's what
don't
I'm saying,
mind.
you're not gonna have to get a loan, because it's kind of free in a way.
Yeah, it's free money.
I can add in on the difference in the
I only
radios,
brought
Robert,
the
if you don't
loan
mind.
because
The difference is now with the new frequencies and the new
Oh.
FCC regulations for public safety, they are supposed to be P25 compliant. So when they start going into P25 compliant, I know Kingston has them on the older band and stuff. When they start going P25 compliant, price goes up. So for instance, the reason for the P25 compliant, like when we went to Gatlinburg, as far as the fire department, and I'll use that as an example because that's been, well, there's been a couple here lately. Cook will have the same issue. The departments that come in that don't have a P25 compliant radio, they ain't talking to anybody unless they have that one frequency in their bank of radios. We didn't have it when we went to Gatlinburg, as far as our radio system. The P25 compliant radios are public safety rated, they're made to take a beating for public safety. The commercial brand like the HD 1250s that we have, that all of us are carrying right now, they don't hold up as much. We've been able to take care of them and stuff, but I use the P25 compliant radios at work. We ran over them with fire trucks, and they keep going. So they are a much sturdier radio system than what we currently have, with less issues. They're moving up the 700 band. We've got towers all the way around us now on that 700-800 split band frequency. Not only is the mutual aid an issue for us, but we have better radio coverage than, like, specifically my radio system. Because that 1V that comes over our houses and stuff, that 1V you ain't getting out. Whereas if we say, even if we was on the radio system, I would get out from my house talking to Nashville if I needed to, just because of the radio coverage.
So is it a trunk line system?
It's a trunking system.
So the president, what we try to do now, the chief will get $105,000 or $6,000 and so many dollars with no payback. He'll get a fire truck out of his budget. If we get any help anywhere else, that's good.
More than
So
likely, he'll
we're not
probably
gonna
get
get
an
anywhere.
AG grant for his radios. There's just no law enforcement
And
grants out
I'd
there.
say if we have a real problem that y'all could communicate, you could probably borrow one of your radios and let him use it to communicate with each other.
He's got one of those already.
Okay. Okay. Call the roll? No, are you satisfied, Mr. Miller? Okay, call the roll?
Robert Miller,
Yes.
Jeff Bass,
Yes.
Kenny Brown,
Yes.
Terry Holland,
Yes.
Mike Schultz.
Yes.
Okay, item,
Wait, wasn't there something else that Kenneth was talking about?
no, I don't think so. Kenneth, you got your question answered, didn't
Yep, I just wanted to make sure we,
you? Make sure that we weren't taking something away from the fire department to keep them from operating.
yeah, that's fine.
I was just talking about, I think he was talking about the loan,
Yeah.
whether apply now or,
Well,
I'm not certain.
I mean, if that's the,
Oh, okay, you,
but if
Is
we
that not- it's
if
not
we
on the
can do it
agenda,
now,
we-
just then do it, you know?
I can bring it up next council meeting if you guys.
well, we can add it, I
want
guess,
that.
if we want to do it tonight, we can, I guess. Can't we, Joe? Add it to the budget? or
It's
to-
something we're gonna have to do, whether we want to or not, right?
Okay, our radio, our TV guy's getting impatient over there, we got.
No,
to
I'm
run along.
Back truck.
Okay, do we want to do anything else on that, or are we satisfied with that? Okay, discuss and possibly approve the animal control officer, Mark Needy, to attend building and codes classes not to exceed $1,000.
Now, when we change up to this, I found him a class that he can take online, and it's the same one that Clinton City put their codes guy through, and they're the ones that recommended it. And it's $495 for him to take a class. There's one this month, and there's another one in August. And that will help us on, that gets him certified on,
So you don't go to North Carolina? for it?
no, it's all online.
Okay.
Oh, you'll have to go to South.
No, we found one where he didn't have to go, he can do it online. And and the only reason I'm bringing it up now, one is this month, or later, but the one in August, we can bring up, next month. And
What does that do? Just gets him more familiar with the codes?
Gets him familiar with all the codes and all that stuff, and
They
gets
don't
him.
license him or nothing like
The second one
we
will,
did.
the second one will,
The second one will?
Yeah.
So we can fire Glenn then, right?
yeah. Now, what this does, this is just gonna be a help to them, because this gets him where he can go out and write, and start condemnation letters and do all that stuff, and get everything off over into court, and try to speed things up a little bit, and it would help them.
Is this $400 gonna cover both of them, or just one of them?
No, that's just one of them. That's what I say, I hated to bring it up, but we just found out about this, the other day.
So, do you wanna send, where's he gotta go to the other one at, North Carolina?
No, he does them both here, online.
Oh, okay. And-
Most of those classes you find them, you've got to go somewhere
So
and take them.
$1,000 gonna cover 2 classes?
Do what?
$1,000 gonna cover 2
Yeah,
classes?
$1,000 cover both, but the other one's out of the next budget, so that's the reason I thought we'd wait till
Okay.
July and do that one when it comes around, because that's not
Motion
August.
to approve.
Got a motion?
I'll second.
Got a motion, got a second. You got any more comments? Yes, you have any more? Okay, Mr. Miller, you got comments? Anybody? Looked like you was getting ready to draw down on that.
This is under the same subject. Did, our, BZA,
What is Orange Fields, did what?
our, what's BZA?
Planning
Planning
Commission?
Commission.
Planning Commission, did they approve the new codes?
They said we didn't have to.
Don't have to, right?
The state guy did.
State guy, we contacted Lynn, not Lynn, but,
Oh,
Paul.
What planning commission only controls your subdivision regulations and zoning ordinances. This is building codes,
And
And this
property.
is new, out of New Southern.
international
It's in
code
there.
council.
And this is the building code plus also the property and maintenance
Yes.
code, which is what we need to help us.
We've got it
they said
similar,
we-
it's in our books similar, but we've got them spread out in 3 different books, and this puts everything in one, correct? Kind of,
Kind of. When it comes to residential, it does.
yeah,
Commercial, industrial,
yeah,
and
it's different.
it's a huge volume of books.
So I thought we had to, Robert, and I was wrong, and they said we didn't have to, so I brought it up that time.
Yeah, we talked about that, so it's,
Okay.
anybody else have any discussion? I can tell Robert's gonna draw down on while I look over there, so. Okay, call the roll, Joe. We do have a
Mark Miller?
motion second.
Yes, sir.
Jeff Bass,
Yes.
Kenny Brown,
Yes.
Terry Hall,
Yes.
Ron Shaw.
Yes.
I'm gonna
Okay.
do that right quick. This is
Discuss and possibly approve the ordinance to amend the International Building Code, IBC, and related codes for the town of Oliver Springs.
I'm motion to approve.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Any more discussion?
I got a question, Glenn, does this, hamper new growth and, or is it gonna help to get rid of the tarp roof people, I guess?
Yeah.
Most of the time it backfires, we can't still make them clean up their mess, and then we'll build something, or,
Well, you got two ordinances in front of you, okay? The first one is the International Building Codes. And what the International Building Codes covers is your commercial industrial properties, okay? Like I said, it's a full volume. It is, you got the International Fire Code, the existing building code, property maintenance code, and everything that comes along with that. And yes, this will give the city of Oliver Springs a little more authority on cleaning up some of the issues that we have. And no, it does not. When it comes to hampering development, it does not do that.
that or this other one?
Well, what you also have is you have a state, a PCA section that says that if you have building codes in your jurisdiction, you have to be within 7 years of the most current code available. Right now, we're on the 12th code, which we're out of compliance. And what we were waiting around to make sure was what the state was going to do. And the state likes to drag their feet. They were still on the old 98 code for a long time. And the amendments that we proposed in the resolutions are exactly what the state adopted.
So is this a 16 copy they're coming out of?
No, it's 2018. Yeah. Codes go in 3 years. So, though, like, we had the 12 code, a new code come out in 15, a new code come out 18. This will set us for the next 6 years.
Okay, item 4 is industrial, and item 5 is city, or, residential.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So when we pass these, is that gonna give us any more teeth on this mess out here on the 4-lane? Where they
Where the trails
parking
are.
trailers by the day?
That stays within your zoning ordinances, but we could possibly use that property maintenance code for that.
I'd offer this observation. You got all the teeth you need, you just gotta put the money behind it.
We do, and this updates everything.
Cause see, you gotta file your lawsuit, you gotta have the building inspector go out and write them the citations. If they don't come into compliance, then you gotta hire your city attorney to file a lawsuit, probably in Anderson County Chancery Court.
That will be in Anderson County Chancery Court, yes,
See, and
sir.
at that point, you're looking at several $1,000s in your attorney time, which you may or may not get back out of your landowner. So if you want teeth, all you need to do is create a line item for, codes enforcement of $25,000, I'll say, and, put Glenn and the city attorney to work.
We just did in the county, budget, the same thing. The way the chancellors are working now is that they will give the orders to the cities, to the counties to clean the properties up. And you go in and you clean it up and you place a lien on that piece of property for the city to get paid back for its money.
So you can take those trailers to the scrap?
Yes, sir, you sure can.
You gotta push
Well,
the issue.
see, let's look at that. Somebody's got to pay the hauler to haul those trailers. And if those trailers are not structurally sound, they're gonna disintegrate. And then you got a mess on the highway to clean up, and see, whoever's hauling it has to pay that cleanup mess, and that cost is passed on to the city, and we pass it on to the landowner. But see, if we get a lien on the trailer's not worth anything, so we don't get any money. If you told the trailer to a junkyard or a demolition place, you may pay them for the privilege of tearing that thing down.
Mhm.
So if you're looking for a way to get it cleaned up where it doesn't cost the city anything, I've got a whole bunch of land in Florida that I'll be glad to show you that half the time you got 3 or 4 feet of water that you can take a bath in on it. Because, and he's right, Greg LaFuse is county attorney and he's got 4 or 5, maybe as many as 10 cases once a month down there, once every couple of months dealing with cleanup. So
Yeah, but
Rowan
he's not
County,
dealing with 15 trailers sitting out here on the side of the road people's looking at every day.
I guarantee you, you put the money in a cleanup line item in the budget, and the city attorney will take care of it.
But there you go again, what do you do with them once you?
Well, you have to understand, there's solutions to it, you just have to budget to pay,
Let me make a
confront the
point.
cost, and then maybe or maybe not, you get back on the
Let me
telephone.
make a point, I don't think we have a motion on the floor yet, do we?
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
all we're doing is trying to pass these two ordinances. We've got ordinance in effect now, okay, just a minute. We've got ordinance in effect now, we'll take care of the problem. This updates everything, okay? It's product, some of the stuff we already have that's in these. So we update these, then we have to worry about which way we're gonna solve the problem. These needs to be updated. But updating means we're not gonna clean that property off. It gives us some guidance on how to do it.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'll make a motion that we approve the ordinance.
We done
We
got
already got a
one.
motion
Yeah.
second,
You
and
seconded.
discussion.
I did.
Yeah, number 4, yeah, we've got.
That was number 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll get it, have a vote.
Discussion over. I've got a motion by, who made the first motion?
John
Shillings,
made the
second.
motion.
Second
and
by Mr.
Jeff seconded.
Who did the second?
Jeff,
Hess?
Yeah.
Okay, and we've discussed it. Any more discussion? Call the roll, please.
Robert Miller,
Yes, sir.
Jeff Bass,
Yes.
Kenny Brown,
Yes.
Terry Hall,
Yes.
John Schultz.
Yes.
Item 5 is nearly the same thing, except it's covering residential. Discuss the possibility of approving an ordinance to amend the International Residential Codes, IRC, for the town of Auburn Springs.
I'll make the motion.
We got a motion by Mr. Bass. Need a second? Need a second.
I'll second.
We got a second? Any more discussion? Call the roll, please.
Robert Miller,
Yes.
Jeff Bass,
Yes.
Kenny Brown,
Yes.
Terry Hall,
Yes.
John Schultz.
Yes.
Passed.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, you can step back this next one if you want to, or you gonna stay?
Yep.
Discuss and possibly approve a bid for demolition of the house at 428 Kingston Avenue. 2 bids required.
Yes,
City
sir.
manager?
Thank you, Mayor. We bidded this project out, and in your packet, you'll see, the bid form, that was, for 428 Kingston Avenue to have that house torn down. The bids came in with 2 bids. There were, several plan holders, but 2 came in, we read them aloud, and, Terry Duncan, $5,825 was the low bid. The other bid was First Place Finish, and it was $5,890. So I recommend the low bid of $5,825 with Terry Duncan and his company to tear the house down at 428 Kingston Avenue.
Let's haul it off, clean it up and everything, right?
Yes, sir.
Complete.
Sort it back and start it.
Yep.
Sort it back.
Then we'll have another thing that we've got to pursue through the city attorney.
That's
Yeah.
5,000 we're never gonna get back.
That's the
Then we'll
next thing we
leave.
have to do. We
Yeah.
gotta put a lien on the property to get our 5,000.
It's exactly what Joe was talking about. Then we gotta lien the property and,
I'll make the
This thing's
motion.
been going on for 17 years, I think. It's been condemned since 2015.
Yeah.
And it's went to court, and we've got the authority. Joe, out of kindness of his heart, he and I weren't real comfortable with the judge ruled it, we could tear it down, and he and I wasn't real comfortable without notifying the finance company, because we had indicated it might be another owner too. And so he wrote a letter, and we sent that out certified mail, and we didn't get a reply from one. We got a reply, they received the letter, the finance company received the letter. Then we went again and asked, the ownership, requested ownership because of a quitclaim deed. And Joe went out with 2 more letters, to the city, and, he's doing some free lawyer work there for us. And, the letters, come back, the guy said, I do not own that problem, that quitclaim deed, it's not my property, it's next door neighbor's property. I own the one next to it. So, we're clear, we feel comfortable, we're not gonna be sued over it, so.
yeah, make sure.
I'll make a motion to accept the lowest bid.
Okay, got a motion and a second.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second, any more discussion?
Do we have any kind of timeline, or does this guy need?
We'll give him 30 days is what we must on.
Yeah, we'll get him just get on it. I mean,
Yeah,
I'll talk to
and
him.
we'll just get on it. so-
Give him.
No, I mean, he's got 30 days.
Huh?
You
30
give
days,
it
we
to
can
him,
start
then
to
we
finish.
can make
Yeah,
it.
well,
Right.
I think we told him in the bid how many days he had, didn't we?
Yes.
I
it's
think he
in the
said
bid.
30 days.
Demolition must be completed within 15 days upon
15
award of
days.
the contract.
Month and a half or no longer.
Is this the in-house?
Yes, it is.
Is it the one on the end there?
Yes, it is.
just one, two-story, three-story house, I can't remember what it was.
It's one story.
One story, we've got 2 or 3 bedrooms.
It's probably two
The old
bedrooms.
church thing.
Used to be a little meeting place, right, church thing, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we got motion second. Did you call a roll on this one? Yeah.
Robert Miller,
Yes, sir.
Jeff Bass,
Yes.
Kenny Brown,
Yes.
Terry Hall, Don Shelton,
Yes.
passed.
Okay, our last item, item 7, discuss and possibly set a date for budget workshop during the week of June the 8th through June the 12th. We really need to get this done in that week.
Any day is good with us, the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, the 11th, the 12th, whatever's good with everybody else.
Any day, fine with me.
You
I'd
want
like
us
to
to
do
set a
it
date?
in the beginning of the week if we could, just
So you're talking about next week?
yes, sir.
Beginning of the week would be great. If we can do it at the beginning of the week, Monday evening or Tuesday evening, or let's see, we,
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, any of those days,
Yeah.
good. We're at
How many days we talking about now? 3, 4?
one day, I hope.
pick one.
Oh, why don't we do it on Friday the 20th?
Friday's not a good day.
How about this Tuesday?
Today I'm off work. I don't have to do
What'd you
work.
say?
Tuesday, so I won't spend my day off here, no offense.
Well,
Oh, but it'll be fun though, but,
he can't be here on a Tuesday.
oh, okay, Friday's fine if it's.
Unless we
if it's
set it
big
early,
meeting,
later
you're
time.
not May.
Later time, what time can you be here by, or can you be?
By 7?
Well, 7 wouldn't be too bad, I guess, but.
Yeah, yes, we're thinking about 6, after 6 anyway, so.
Have to be at 7, right?
Can you make it 7?
Yeah.
7 o'clock Tuesday? Can everybody make it 7 o'clock Tuesday?
Be the 9th?
Yes, I think that's 9.
I don't think
It is.
it's one night, though.
Yes.
I think you can, I think you
You
can.
think so?
He's got it lined up pretty nice, I think you'll like it.
Yeah, but he can sing my
Oh, I got
lyrics.
it, I'm looking at it.
There's no extra money.
What your list will look like. We've got a good idea what your list looks like. Okay, we need a motion, I guess, here.
So moved.
Move for the 7 o'clock on Tuesday, and then second.
I'll second.
Now, motion and a second. Motion by Miller, but second by Bass. Any more discussion? Call the roll, please.
Robert Miller,
Yes, sir.
Jeff Bass,
Yes.
Kenny Brown,
Yes.
Terry Hall,
Yes.
Don Shelton,
Yes.
passed.
Friday at 7 o'clock, huh?
No, Tuesday at 7 o'clock.
You told me Friday.
The 9th, right?
Yes.
I did announce Tuesday, I think. Anyway, play the film, but no, I think it's,
Tuesday, June.
there's no more business coming before the board. We'll need adjourned. Got a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second. All in favor, stand.
Kenny?
Hey, Chief.
We are adjourned.
And I